Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Guys Global Getaways. This is episode 8. Summer's heating up for most of us. This means some sun-drenched beaches, turquoise waters, and endless relaxation. Today, we're kicking off our very own Caribbean cruise countdown. So, whether you're a seasoned cruiser or planning your first voyage, we're going to dive into the essential steps to ensure your Caribbean escape is smooth sailing from start to finish. And joining me today to navigate these waters is my friend and seasoned travel professional, Shanta. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone.
Okay. Shanta, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, I know that you're a travel agent and what kind of travel and stuff that you do.
Okay, yeah, my name is Shanta King. I've been a travel agent for 10 years now with Open Journey Travel. That is the name of my business. I do group trips as well as custom trips, but cruises are one of the easiest trips to plan and go on with my eyes closed. I'm actually going on a cruise this Friday, so this will be a great conversation and right on time.
All right, great. So you're going on a cruise this Friday, so that's awesome. So, so I know you got the cruise experience. All right, so
Yes.
your professional insights will definitely be valuable. So, uh, let's start this episode uh, because right now we're in summertime and a lot of people are planning their trips and planning different uh, cruising destinations and ships. So
Right.
the Caribbean is vast, offers a diverse experience. So in choosing your cruise, your destination, your ship, what's your advice to our listeners? How do you narrow down like what part of the Caribbean you're going to go to and what kind of ship are you going to choose?
So that really depends on, the customer's preference, right? Um, I've been cruising since 2002. My first cruise was a short 3 day for my honeymoon. At the time that I was married, anyway, not anymore. But yeah, we did a short three. I think it was a 3 or 4 day cruise. So we went to Nassau and Freeport. So it really depends on what you're trying to get out of your vacation. Now everything is being, ready for the gram, Instagrammable, TikTok, Twitter, all those get different social media applications. So a lot of people are trying to get the picturesque type of view. And they want to make sure that their photos are great. So having those different types of experiences, like now, I actually just got an email that part of my voyage has changed, and we're supposed to go to Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic, but now they're taking us to Grand Turk, Turks and Caicos. So I'm like, okay, the tours that I booked, are no longer valid. They're not doing those same things in the new island. So now I'm looking for something else to do. So the thing now is the jet cars, which is kind of like jet skiing, but being in a convertible or a Corvette type of car. So that's actually what I'm looking at. Those would be great Instagram photos and videos for my business page, something that I can resell. But again, the islands are definitely different. They're not one. Once you've seen one beach, you've seen them all. So it's really about the customer preference. If it's something that I'm planning for one of my group trips, I try to plan something where most people have never gone before. Most people are flooding to the Bahamas. Most people are flooding to Dominican Republic. Most people are flooding to Colombia, right? So that you have all these places where people are flooding to. I want to give my customers that personal experience. Now we definitely gonna turn up. I'm gonna make sure that we find a spot or a club where we can turn up at least 1 or 2 nights that we're there. If possible, because you have some of these cruises where they just stop for the day, and then you have some of these cruises that will stop and stay overnight. So that's also, something you want to factor in as well. It's all about what the customer is looking for, and I try to please them as much as possible.
No, that's a great point. That's why they mentioned about the jet skis. Me yeah, the jet skis, that's a little too risky for me. But the convertible though, I did like that. See that on Instagram. I think I would
Yep.
do that. All right, I probably won't do just like the freehand myself, but like actual inside of the convertible, I think I'll do that. So
Yeah, and it comes. You can get it with or without the photos and the videos. Of course, you have to pay a little bit more. Usually, it's like $100. But I mean, who doesn't want that experience of floating, on the ocean in a convertible? Like that's dope.
yeah,
So looking to do that. There's this thing that the girls love to do, the clear kayak photo shoot. I might do that as well. It's still up in the air. But there's a whole bunch of different things you can do. It's really about, like I said, what the client is looking for and what type of fun they're trying to have. But also keep in mind, cruise ships already have a lot of fun and activities planned for you. So there's not much that you need to do when you port.
okay, all right, that makes sense. Now, in terms of booking your idea, like what's your general idea of like when it's time to book? Like, what type of
Oh,
advice would you give people of booking? I know there's a few people that like to do the last minute thing. Personally, for me, I don't subscribe to that theory.
yes.
What do you think? What type of advice would you give people who are thinking about when they should book?
Anywhere from 6 to 12 months. If you can book it before 12 months, all the better, right? And I say that because one, you want to go ahead and lock in your price. People have to factor in taking off time from work, childcare, house sitting, whatever the case may be. So the further out that you book, that gives you more time to plan and not have to cancel the trip, right? But also for deals. Deals are posted throughout. So if I book something 12 months out and say the price is $1,000, but then the cruise ship might be running a special 6 months out. And my client says, "Hey, Shanta, I see that the cruise ship has a deal. Am I able to get the cheaper rate?" 9 times out of 10, I can get them the cheaper rate. So it's good to lock in with your price because you never know throughout that time period up until when you actually travel, you might be able to get some deals. So, who doesn't want some of their money back, right? Um, so yes, the sooner the better, because again, you get to plan more easily and know what's going on. When you do last minute, yes, you can catch some deals, but usually the flights are not always the places where you're going to get the deals. You might get the deals on the cruise, you might get the deals on the land portion, but those flights, sometimes that's not always the case, especially like living here in Atlanta, and a lot of cruise ships leave out of Miami. They leave Delta usually leaves every hour, not on the hour, but they usually have flights going to Miami every hour. So because they have so many flights and they know people want to go to Miami, they're not going to give you a deal.
No,
So
no, that
six
definitely makes
six to 12 months is ideal or
sense.
longer.
Okay, okay, that definitely makes sense.
Yes.
Now, I know there's some hidden fees. I've experienced this, and I try to let my clients know before Let's Travel Today that uh, just because they say now that companies are trying to move it up and put the total price, but just because it says like 359, that may not be the full story. So, what do you say about like port fees, taxes, gratuities? How do you navigate that?
Always going to be included. That is a non-negotiable fee that you have to pay, with the exception of gratuities. Right? Gratuities, they will automatically add them because, of course, you're paying for a service. You basically have room service every day in your cabin. You basically have people feeding you and bringing you food and all these different things. So cruise ships will add the gratuity on. Um, but there are, if you feel like you didn't get the level of service that you wanted to get or you should have gotten, you can definitely um you can definitely change that and go to customer service and say, "Hey, I want to take the gratuity off." But why would you do that, right? That gratuity is paying for every person that helped you on that ship, whether you saw them or not, right? The people in the back of the kitchen, the stewards that come and clean your room. If you need an iron, somebody that comes and brings you an iron because you can't have irons on a cruise ship. So many different things that you see, the entertainment, that gratuity is for everyone. So when I send people the quotes, I let them know that everything is included. Now, for those that don't know, Virgin Voyages, they already include all of those amounts in your price. A lot of people think that Virgin Voyages is a higher price cruise ship, and in some cases, it could be. It really just depends on where you're going and the type of room that you're getting. But Virgin Voyages is an all inclusive type of cruise ship. Like you have your gratuities, you have your non alcoholic beverages, you have your Wi Fi, you have all these things that's already included. Whereas if you go on Carnival, Royal Caribbean, some Norwegian type of sailings, these are add-ons that you have to pay. So you might see 1,200 on Carnival and then also see 1,200 on Virgin, but Virgin has already included everything for you. Carnival, you're going to have to pay extra, right? Then you also have to come to the drink packages. That's a difference as well. Most of the cruise lines, with the exception, I'm going to say all of the cruise lines, with the exception of Virgin Voyages, they do drink packages. Virgin Voyages does a prepaid bar tab. The difference is a drink package is you pay a certain amount of money for, your unlimited alcohol, but you are limited on how much you can drink per day. Please understand that. Virgin Voyages, if I pay $300 for a pre-bar tab, that's my bar tab. That means I've already prepaid for $300 worth of alcohol. If I go over that $300, then I'll just pay, as I go at the end of my sailing. Whereas the other cruise ships, it might be $600, $700, and you pay for the package, and you may not even drink $600, $700 worth of alcohol. And then also with the other cruise ships, if there's two people in a room, both parties have to get the drink package. That's not how it works on Virgin Voyages. Virgin Voyages is per sailor. Everything is per sailor. If I want the drink bar tab and my roommate doesn't want the bar tab, they don't have to get it. So
Okay.
there's differences in the different cruise lines. So I let my clients know, depending on who they want to go on. They may want to go on Carnival. I'm not a Carnival girl. That's just me. But some people want to go on Carnival. So I'll, let them know, hey, line by line, this is what is included. This is what's, covered. This is what you're going to pay for. These are the extras. I can try to get them as many perks as possible, but it doesn't always work.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm a carnival guy, so I got you.
Yeah.
uh,
Carnival is a little too much for me. I won't use the words that I want to use, but they're a little too much for me. I'm gonna
I,
keep it like that. Virgin Voyages is adult only. Is upscale. Is grown. That's me, and the meals are way better.
so that's what's gonna ask you because I I know we're travel agents, so we know, but I'm not sure other people, new listeners to the channel may know what type of cruise Virgin Voyages is. So Virgin Voyages, like you're saying, is an adult only cruise versus some.
Yes, every sailing, the cruise line is adult only. You have cruise lines that may do certain sailings that might be adult only on Carnival, Norwegian, or what have you, but the policy for Virgin Voyages, every person has to be 18 and up. So no kids at all. So it does cater to everyone. It caters to, gay, straight, in between. So you have to be open because they cater to everyone. Even the shows are not your typical Vegas type shows that might be on Carnival or Royal Caribbean. It is fun, interactive shows, and they're more adult.
Okay, no, yeah, that's good to
So
know. So if you guys looking for Virgin Cruises, definitely look to Open Journey Travel. Uh,
listen, that's me. I'm going on my third Virgin Voyages cruise or sailing this Friday, and I already have the fourth one booked for next year.
okay,
So I'm not saying this just because the one for next year is not even a group cruise. I'm going by myself. So it's not a money thing, right? It's an experience.
experience.
And I've seen some videos on TikTok where people were like, it's not as lit on Virgin and blah blah. Some people want to turn up every single day. Some people want to relax and have a good time. I tell people if you go on any trip, whether it's a cruise or land package, and you're bored, it's because of you, not because of what's there on the island, what's on the ship, anything. Every trip is what you make it. So if the trip is boring to you, then that means you're just a boring person. I'm sorry.
No. That makes a lot of sense. All right. So, cool. So we went a little bit off here real quick. All right. No, that's good though. Good. Excellent. So, let's talk about for our new cruisers, new people to the channel that are thinking about cruising, because there's a lot of first timers out there. Let's talk
Hmm.
pre-cruise essentials like flights, hotels, and documents. So, I know that you know the importance, something that I preach all the time to most of my people. And I kind of get a little iffy. You know, people change their mind, clients change their mind all the time. And
Yeah.
if they come in on the same day, it gets you a little nervous. But, you know, but what are some of the non-negotiables when it comes to documents and stuff um, for cruising?
So every cruise line will accept your birth certificate if you don't have a passport. But I say the passport is the safest thing um, to have. I've seen a lot of videos where people have been left in islands and because they didn't make the ship time. So it's easier to be rerouted or assisted to get back on the ship or get back to the States or your home country if you have a passport, and your passport is like gold, right? It proves that you are the citizen of that country and that you need to leave, right? You have a birth certificate, it will still get you home. It's just going to take a couple more ropes to jump over. So that is the most important thing to have. You lose your passport, it's easier to get a renewal of a passport versus a renewal of a birth certificate or an updated birth certificate. So you want to factor in those things as well. As far as flying in, I'm one of those girlies that will fly in the day of if I'm doing the Caribbean. Now, I did take my first Mediterranean cruise last year, and we went to Spain and France. So we actually went in 2 days early, spent some time in Barcelona, hung out. So it was just not, pressure. And I'm glad that we did because we did have some flight issues. Luggage got rerouted and couldn't find it and certain things. So we had time to sort all those things out before we got on the ship for 7 days. So I would say if you're jumping to way overseas, different countries or different continents, let me say, going to Australia or leaving out of Australia for a sailing, or leaving out of Africa for a sailing, or leaving out of Asia for a sailing. Those are the ones where you want to go in 1 to 2 days early. Here in Atlanta, going to Miami, like I said, the flights go every hour. So I tend to get like maybe a 9 o'clock flight where I get in at 11. The ship doesn't leave until 4 or 6 p.m. at night. So I have some time. If my flight is delayed, I miss the flight, there's time for me to get on the next flight. So for me, leaving out of Miami or any of those Florida cities, I will fly in the day of. There are some people, depending on where you're coming from, if your state will allow, excuse me, if your state doesn't allow nonstop, I would probably recommend maybe doing the day before and getting a hotel that's close as possible to the seaport so you don't have any issues with that.
No,
That's really it. Like those are just the preliminary things that you need to do. You have some essentials that you want to bring on the cruise ship. I am a carry-on queen, so everything that I have is going to be in my carry-on. But I will say for those people that feel like they need 2 and 3 pieces of luggage in your carry-on, make sure you have your medicine, you have your chargers, you have all of the essentials that you may need immediately once you get on the ship. Because if your luggage is lost or your luggage is delayed getting to your cabin, you want to make sure that you have those essentials. Even a bathing suit, right? You want to get on a cruise ship, relax, and go sit by the pool. Have your bathing suit in your carry-on because having it in your check bag, it's going to take a couple hours before your check bags get to your cabin. But that is why I do carry on. I want all of my stuff all at one time when I'm ready to have it. I'm a little impatient, but that's just me.
that's amazing. That's one of the genius tips. I think with the luggage and uh, carry-ons. Now, what do you recommend for yeah, that medicine, man. If you don't bring your medicine, and it's shoot, locked up in like two or three. Whenever you get to your room, that could be a situation. So definitely break that.
Right, a real big situation. So it's important. You have to have it. Some people have a checklist. I know for me, sometimes I will have a checklist. Like, you have cruise ships that have events, Virgin Voyages, they always have a pajama party. They always have Scarlet Night, which is a night that you dress in all red. So I go through my checklist to say, okay, do I have my pajamas just for outside pajamas, but also my pajamas to go to bed in? Then I have my red outfit for that. So if there's any, special events going on the ship, like they have um a retro fitness class where you look like Suzanne Summers and you got the neon colors. So if I plan to do that, I want to make sure that I have my neon workout outfit. So there's different things that you want to do. I tell my people, go through your checklist first. Pack those essentials first, then pack extras. That's how I always end up taking carry-on. I've done carry-on luggage for countries that I've been to for 9, 10 days. And people ask me how I do it. It's strategic. It is stressful, but it's also strategic.
That's a genius tip for sure. Now, what about tech? I know your phone is a given for photos, but are there any other gadgets you swear by or advise people to consider?
Yes, if you're a content creator, you know that you need to have your tripod. I have a small carry-on luggage, and then I have a duffel bag. In my duffel bag, I have my tripod. I'm not a content creator, but I try to do what I can. I have my tripod. I have my chargers. Um, I have my small ring lights that I can put on the back of my phone if it's dark at night. I recently just got me some Meta glasses, so I'll probably be wearing those and bringing my Meta glasses. It is the easiest thing to record from those Meta glasses. Um, Anything that you may need, I have my pill, my JBL pill for music in my room. I will say for those that are real music heads, download your music to your devices, because some countries may not allow you to just play through your streaming apps. So it's always good to download it, any type of music that you have. Like I have Tidal, so the songs in my playlist that I really love, I have them downloaded. So then I don't have those issues when I'm in those countries that may not support Tidal or Apple Music or whatever the case may be. So it's just really about planning it and making sure that what you need and want on vacation, or while you're at home, you can get on vacation. But some people don't think about that. They're like, okay, let me just go. I heard about this country. I want to go to it and I'm going to just go. You need to do your research. You need to do your research. That's how people end up in jail in other countries. You know, um,
Tell
they
me.
end up being kicked out of a hotel, a whole bunch of stuff that I've seen on social media. And I'm like, I've been to these countries before and I never had any of those issues. So I'm like, what are they doing?
Research is important, and definitely what you say about the Ray-Ban metas. That's usually I'll take all my pictures now. I see I got them on right here. So
Yeah, yeah, I love my glasses. And I got the transition one, so I can wear them daytime and nighttime. And I
yeah,
mean daytime and Sunday, whatever, and they transition for me. So definitely good for me.
yeah. I have mine to transition though, also, and I know they're opening up, but there's something important here. Especially when you're navigating ports through different countries, like Google Translate on your
Yep.
phone. That's a big deal because I know when I went to Italy, they don't speak English, so you have to have that Google Translate. I remember I went to a shop. It was like a gas station, and I was trying to figure, like a convenience store. And I was trying to figure out about the tolls, right? And I told the guys like tolls, right? And he's looking at me like I got five heads. Like, tolls. So I type it into the phone in my Google Translate, and he's like, "Oh, okay." So he types it back on my phone, and he tells me what I'm looking, what the answer I'm looking for. So I'm like,
Yes.
"Oh, okay." So that's definitely some
It
invaluable
is.
stuff.
It is way important. And I will say I have two phones. I'm actually on my iPhone, but I have my Android, which is my main phone. My Android has a lot of AI features. So one of the features that it has, that say if I had to call someone in another country and they didn't speak English, it would translate it while I'm on the phone.
Oh yeah, that's cool. That's absolutely.
So, it definitely depends on where you're going. TikTok Shop, I will say, is a great place to get a lot of travel essentials. They have those earbuds that translate in your ear what someone is saying if you don't want to use, your phone, right? So it just really depends. You have that two-way conversation and you have just the translator. So just, there's so much technology out there today that people need to look into. But again, it's always going to be about to get me where I need to be. I got lost in Spain one time and my Spanish got me where I needed to be. So it just really depends. If you know that you want to go to a lot of Spanish speaking countries, maybe look into learning Spanish, right? So you don't have those issues when you go to those different countries. So
No, that makes a lot of sense. So last but not least, I know you're talking about onboard shore excursion plannings and stuff like that. So you're on the ship, your luggage has arrived. Um, how do you advise people to kind of plan their time, uh, while they're on the ship, and what type of excursions and stuff?
if you're going to do excursions, you need to plan those excursions before you step on that ship. Um, Virgin Voyages, the one that I'm going on this week, they opened up the excursions on April 22nd at midnight. And I set a reminder on my phone for midnight, April 22nd, so I can make sure that I book all of the excursions that I had saved and that I wanted to do. If I'm looking at something, the other 3,000 people are looking at something as well. So you want to make sure that any excursions that you plan to do, you book those ahead of time. When you get on the ship, make sure you look at the activity log so you can see what type of entertainment you want to go. They have a lot of things for singles on all of these cruise ships. They have a lot of things for singles, couples, just chill nights. They might, some people might take over a section or a bar and do their own thing. So don't stay in your room. Don't stay in your room. I mean, people like to spend a lot of money on these cabins and the sea terrace and all this other stuff. That's not what you're there for. You're there to experience the whole ship. Yes, enjoy your balcony as much as you can, but also get out of that cabin, have fun, meet new people, talk to strangers, dance like no one is looking at you because tomorrow is not promised and you don't know when you're going to be able to go on your next trip.
That's amazing. That's amazing information there. So, that's a smart, well-rounded approach, Santa. So there you have it, folks. Caribbean cruise countdown from choosing the ideal trip itinerary to packing smart and planning our onboard adventures. Little preparation goes a long way.
A
Uh,
long way.
whether you're dreaming of turquoise waters, vibrant culture, or simply just soaking up the sun, the Caribbean's out there, man, So thank you so much for sharing your professional insights today.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And so to Guys Global Getaways, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. Let's Travel Today is ready to assist you. And, now you got a plug for, open journey travel for, voyages. All right. Well, we'll put the link in the comments. So that's all, folks. Until next time. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to next Tuesday for our next episode. All right.
Bye,
Thanks.
everyone.
And I'm feeling good.